This would not be acceptable in any other type of community, but for some reason it seems to be allowed when it comes to First Nations communities.
Peguis First Nation has been fighting for flood mitigation measures and better housing for years, but some say nothing has changed, which begs the question as to why First Nation communities like Peguis are repeatedly ignored. Peguis First Nation has endured persistent flooding over the years, resulting in damage to infrastructure and housing. After years of repeated calls to get flood mitigation measures in place and better housing, nothing has been done to make change.
It shouldn't matter if it's a First Nation or a town or an RM or a city. Everybody in Canada deserves the same services.
Cal Mason is from Peguis First Nation and still has family living in the community. He says it's very frustrating to see nothing being done to fix the situation.
It's hard to plan your life from year to year when you don't know if you're going to be able to be in your home, or how bad the floods are going to be, or how far the floods are going to expand, or the road's going to be in place. It throws everything off.
Peguis First Nation has struggled for over a century to receive compensation for the lands it lost after European settlers arrived in Manitoba. Sean Carlton says this entire situation is a historical injustice.
Just the historical pattern of floods in recent history. Like, we need to remember that there have been 5 major floods in the last 20 years. We know what the problem is. The issue is that there is a lack of political will to deal with the flood mitigation and prevention strategies because it costs money.
Hundreds of Peguis members are still unable to return home, and the community has since filed a $1 billion flood damages lawsuit against the feds, the province, and 2 rural communities.
We look at other countries, for example, when an event of a catastrophic nature happens, there's some form of intervention. Canada prides itself on bringing those people here. It's called a humanitarian crisis, and so that's what's been happening in our community, but we're ignored.
In Winnipeg, Alex Karpa, City News.